Welcome everyone to ETF2L Season 26, Week 7, the final week of the season, Lemmings versus Nunya. I am Peter. I'm joined by Sideshow and Sam. How are you doing, Sideshow? Are you hyped for this completely important match?
Well, I was hyped to play in a completely important match, but Champ GG decided to throw in the towel like the bunch of tilters that they are. And so here we are casting this game beta, which was a surprise. Originally, I was going to be casting Champ GG against Seven, which was our previously scheduled broadcast. And then Champ GG have decided to die. Turbo Monkey left the team following Tom's departure from the roster, and Spud's got a dinner with his dad or something. Who knows? I'm not going to ask, I'm not going to ask what the deal is there.
Yeah, I didn't feel like asking on that one. That was just weird.
Yeah, it's just date night with dad, apparently.
Yeah.
So
Don't want to know.
So we're here with Nunya against Lemmings. What do you think of these two teams? Neither of them can make playoffs at this point, although Lemmings could tie with Low Panda, who are now guaranteed a playoff spot, but they would lose in the head-to-head. So they've both been around the middle towards bottom end of Premiership. How do you feel about them?
Well, obviously, I think Lemmings is the better team, and Lemmings started out really weak, and then as the season progressed, they started facing weaker teams. They did a lot better, and they're definitely in an upward curve. Whereas Nunya was the team I expected at the beginning of the season to be the worst team, and they were slightly a positive surprise. I think they got points right off the bat, and then they just kind of stalemated and went stagnant and didn't move anywhere. So I think there's hope for Lemmings. They're definitely looking pretty strong, and they had some really good results lately.
Right, let's take a look at this Lemmings roster then. For those of you who have not been quite up to speed on what's been going down with this roster, they got Honey Badger on Medic, Elico on Demoman. The two soldiers are Cold Heart on the Pocket Roll and Zesty on Roma, who I saw a highlight of him yesterday, just going around with the Market Gardener, slamming people and getting some crucial picks on Viaduct. Ince and Sorex on Scout, with Sorex performing admirably. And they are going to be up against the might of the mostly British roster of Nunya, who've... I just love the name of this demo man, because it used to be called a name that's literally unpronounceable. It was Banny, but with a 420 instead of a 4, and he's now changed his name to Rat Slayer. This man just seems like he has a ton of incredibly awful names ready to switch his alias to at any point.
Yeah, Rat Slayer is definitely a step up, I would say. But some people are just not very good at picking their names.
How do you pronounce before 20 in the beta? What was that supposed to be?
I don't know, Behiney or something.
Behiney. God, it's just dreadful from beginning to end. It's like he must have had an alias before that as well. He clearly has a name, and yet he chooses just to make it B420. And anyway, straying vastly off the point here. But their roster features Rat Slayer on demo, as we were talking about, Condog on Medic, Yellen and Pappy on the soldiers, and Hems and Crafty, with Crafty looking like he's been putting in some big performances this season.
Yeah, I haven't been noticing it, but apparently he's been doing really well. Like you've got to respect going 26 and 14 on average, and then doing 276 damage per minute. That's really, really high for a scout. And just monstrous KD, monsters KAD, just very low deaths. I'm very impressed with him, so definitely looking up for him. I'm kind of looking forward to the Crafty versus Sorix matchup, but these are the two pocket scouts here, I believe. So Ince versus Crafty. What jumps out to you?
Taking a surprisingly low amount of heals per minute for the kills that he's dealing out and the amount of damage that he's actually putting out. So it looks like Crafty's got him dominated on most of the metrics here. We are going to be playing Granary and Badlands though. This first map, Granary, is pretty notorious for being a map where scouts have a hard time. Even the best scouts find it difficult. As soon as you get off the initial mid-fight where they can have a huge impact to actually be able to. I mean, the map is essentially a series of choke points, right, and little box rooms, so it can get pretty difficult for a scout to have a carry performance. But when we move on to Badlands, that's another classic scout map, so the best class in the game should be able to shine at that point.
Yeah, Granary really just is a bunch of flat ground with a bunch of boxes on it, and then a bunch of choke points. But on mid fights, you can definitely do some work as a scout. So I feel like it depends a lot on where you can do your fights. That depends. So I definitely seen soldiers be shut down really effectively on Granary. So it's not something you should completely take for granted. But yeah, soldier definitely tends to be better. Let's look at the Sorks versus Hems. Sorks is, of course, a completely prodigious scout who he was up and coming for a very long time. I think he's established himself as being one of the best scouts in Prem at this point.
He's up and come now, all over everybody.
Indeed. As we have 20 average kills per map, so he's doing better than Hems. But Hems has been doing pretty well so far in the season overall, I'd say. He's had a very solid season. And he receives quite a lot more heals than Sorks. It seems like the heal spread between the Lemming scout is a little bit more even. I'm not quite sure though. And then damage per minute, again, Sorks 262. That's very high. Not as high as Crafty, but still very high and impressive.
We'll see how this turns out on paper though. What's interesting to me is that all of the soldiers in these matchups, it might just be a product of them being at the lower end of Premiership and having been essentially farmed by a lot of the other teams, especially strong scout combos. When you're losing and you're the soldiers, you're expected to make room, you're expected to go in and lead pushes if you're the pocket and stuff, so it can end up inflating your deaths or your negative metrics in a sense.
It's a tough job.
Yeah, it is indeed. I can attest to that. But the metrics for all of the soldiers currently playing, apart from Zesty pretty much, are fairly poor for the roles that they're playing on. So that's going to be an interesting one, particularly on this first map, because Granary is known as the soldier map. These mids can, the way that the boxes are set up and the way that the sight lines are, where you really don't, you're going into the mid almost completely blind and bombing soldiers can get in your face very quickly. That kind of thing is going to be super interesting to see how these soldiers play. And I want to see fat plays from Zesty, because his play in general, from what I've caught, bearing in mind I've only caught bits of it in fact, has been fairly decent. And he's the kind of player that has played a lot of different classes on his road up to the Premiership. And you can see there that he's outperforming the soldiers on Nunya by a fair margin. But we're going to be going live very shortly, Vita.
Yeah, we're going live now. Do you care to give us any quick predictions here? I'm going to go on record and saying that it's going to be decisive win for Lemmings. What do you think?
I'm going to go with 5-0-5-0 Nunya.
Oh boy. All right. That's brave. I'll give you that. So we are in the first mid. Looks like our blue demo Elacor is way faster, but he's also taking more damage, so probably pretty even so far. But here comes the first jump in. That's Zesty. He gets immediately taken down by a nice pipe from Ratslayer, but he gets rushed down by a scout, and all of a sudden everyone just dies, and Elacor is the only one alive. He's in a corner. He gets taken down, and Medic survived.
I don't look so foolish saying 5-0-5-0 Nunya now, do I, Peter?
No. Only 4 more rounds to go.
Yeah, that was a reasonable main fight for them. They did well. Condog had me worried at the end, though, because he completely whiffed his surf as he got bombed by Coldheart. If Coldheart had an extra rocket loaded, he would have almost definitely gone down. But Condog survives. He's got his supercharge up. And they're going to be waiting for Ratslayer to get there before they try and push this one into last. But it's so difficult to push into last, actually, now that you've got people running different defensive off classes on Granary, especially with weapons like the Natasha currently being allowed. Actually, Ince has the Tomislav here going for pure damage and aggressive viability, and they don't have
vaccinated
a sniper
either. That's kind of surprising. That's been the standard go-to desperate hold here. They take down Zesty right away. He forced out Uber, but he gets taken down in return, and this is looking pretty hairy so far, but it's definitely not over. There's a ton of pressure onto the point here, but Coldheart goes down, and now it's just the medic. Can he get 2 saws? No, Honeybat tries his best, but now just the demo being taken down while people stand on the point. And there we go. 1-0.
9 more like that. 9 more like that, Nunya. And you've got my prediction straight in the bag. Yellen made a pretty fat play on the last mid. carrying this away for the Nunya soldiers. So I want to take a look at the soldier play on this mid and see how it works out. See where everybody on Lemmings died to last time.
Indeed, we saw the soldiers from Lemmings being shut down very quickly. So let's see if they can change it up here. Once again, Eliko is being slightly faster. Rattler is stuck in the corner right now. And once again, soldiers in the skybox. Sesti doing exactly the same jump. But look at that, Rattler taking down 2 players, Sorks and Eliko. That's huge picks. And oh my god, an air shot from Papi takes down Sesti. And this is just... How do you do this? How did you know?
Well, you know, I've just got this kind of intuition that tells me British players are better than everybody else. Yellen is so deep at the moment as well, but he's done a ton of damage. Pappy's surely going to be able to clean up. He's onto Honey Badger, trades his life with him, and Condog is safe, surrounded by all of his players. This is a roll by Nunya so far. But their soldiers were so bad on that mid as well. Like, the initial bombs from Pappy and Yellen were all over the place. But Ratslayer cleaned up 2 early kills, and then by the time the Nunya soldiers would reset, they were in a great position.
Yellen jumps in there, gets completely denied by Sorgs. But now they're putting time onto the point. They're Ubering here, and now just Sorgs on 10 HP, and that's going to be another round. 2 really quick rounds here. I think Lemmings at this point just need to slow down the game, because on Granary, if you lose middle, it's so easy to just lose everything. And just slowing down the game could really benefit them at this point, I think.
It certainly could. I mean, one thing that they could also do is focus down these soldiers rather than trying to go for Ratslayer, who's positioned himself really far back on the mid-fights. Yellen and Pappy are going in for deep bombs all the time. All they have to do is wait for them to land and just shoot a rocket at them or get in their face as a scout. Because they're not actually landing on anybody. It's very odd positioning from them. And they look like they're going in for a bomb again. Yellen with a skip jump down the right-hand side. Again, onto functionally nobody, but has tied up a scout in a 1v1. Yellen again jumping up, getting a bit of damage onto Inns there. In comes Pappy, getting damage onto Zesty. But this time, both of the soldiers have been cleaned up, and it's looking bad for Nunya. Oh, Nunya. Ratslayer, he's down as well, and it's Condog escaping with his Uber charge, which is a silver lining for Nunya. I mean, it's not something that Honey Badger managed to do the last 2 mids.
That was a really good mid for Lemmings right there. They played it a lot more patiently. We didn't see the quick bomb in from Sesti. Sesti did still go down, but you know, he played way more patiently, and they just waited for the soldiers and dealt with them very patiently, and then here we go. They got middle, and now they can slow down the game. They can send in the suicider, they can try and go sniper. You know, they can do all these different things, and there we go. It looks like we have Inns on the point. They're just gonna run in and suicide. Didn't work, but he's probably going to come back as sniper or spy or something.
I hope we see the fat spy play here, actually. Because... oh, he's actually moving the sentry around as well. With the sentry forward in that kind of position, I didn't know whether they'd actually seen it. Presumably they have now, because Crafty Dave's just sat around building up this sentry the whole time. But the issue with having a sniper is that even if you get a pick and you're pushing into Granary last, you've then got a sniper who's very easy to pick off if he's trying to play on his own at the back of the push, and he's not really going to do anything if he goes with you in the push as well. Yeah, so he has to hit his shots to be worthwhile, even if he gets the initial pick.
Yeah, the thing you can do, however, if you get, say, their sniper, or they don't have a sniper, and you get a pick, then you can just go in on your own left side and just pressure them out. And because when you play in that doorway, you're creating so much space for your sniper, so you can kind of open up the doorway for a second pick. So even though you don't really get anything in the first pick, as you get a soldier bomb in here, he finds the medic. He does quite a lot of damage, but not enough to force it out.
What is Crafty Dave doing? Like, moving around his sentry every 10 seconds is terrible, because the sentry is one of the biggest defenders of Condog, who's currently sat inside the dispenser.
Oh, and this counter-sack almost worked. Sorry, cutting you off.
Well, neither team has managed to force a Uber at the moment. Both teams have the sniper up as well. In's going for a play beater.
Oh, he's gonna do the hero snipe. Yeah, gets the sniper. That's good. So now they can play around him like I was talking about. Looks like he's gonna be forced out. Actually, just gonna be an Uber trade here. It's very aggressive from Yellen there, just taking it in. And he's actually gonna catch the soldier up top. Really good job there. And now there's just people on last, and this is actually a really nice push coming out from Nunya. Or a really nice hold, sorry. But all of a sudden, that turns around, and look at that. Sor's going to put time on the point. There's no sneakers on it yet. Ratslayer is just desperately trying to reload. It's not going to be enough, and that actually worked out. It was a very aggressive Uber there from Nunya, and I thought it was going to work, but then all of a sudden they just die 3 at a time.
I like the idea from Yellen though, because he manages to get a really aggressive. He splits the Uber charge so that he has a better one, and he's just got the mono Uber. A soldier takes damage up top, so he jumps into the window room and finishes him off. So with his Uber charge, he's essentially negated the enemy's Uber and put them at 5v6. But in the meantime, 2 of their players fed, the sentry went down, and then Lemmings immediately repushed, catching a couple of other players. So although the Uber, I think, was not too bad, the after Uber was played fairly poorly by Nunya.
Yeah, Sesti doing a fake jump in there. He's going to back off, and both teams are just kind of taking their own side, and they're just staring each other down, trying to take their own high ground. And here we go, Coldheart jumps in very aggressively, and there's even a ins behind. And here we go, Coldheart jumps in once again. And so far, all of these jumps in haven't really succeeded in killing many people, but the positioning right now is just so much better for Lemmings. You can just see Nunya just standing in the corner. Both teams have Uber, however, and there's one man up. Now it's still one man up right now for Nunya. So they could get the better of this Uber charge, but there's still a wild Sorex running around here.
He's the only player left alive though, and Honey Badger's on half health as well. The cavalry is going to arrive if Lemmings can just back off. Sorex only on 18 health, manages to escape the barrage of scattergun shots as they come flying towards him, and both Medic and Patient are going to evacuate themselves out through that choke point, keeping 6v6 alive, and both teams on 50% as well. Sorex looks like he's really itching to go for a play, but that would just be a textbook feed if he runs into mid now.
Yeah,
So,
back in the old days, he probably would have done that.
yeah, the original pasta scout. But they're both building things up at the moment. Oh, here comes a dry push from Lemmings as they're just about to get their Uber.
Yeah, it looks like Wrestler is going to do a really good job of spamming it out, but he gets taken down by Sesti. So a really nice trade there for Sesti, and Yellen is also very weak. He's about to go down. I can't believe he didn't actually die, and he gets saved by an arrow. But still, he's very weak. He's going to have to take the Uber very early, and now just Honey Badger, can he feed? Can he just milk this here? Yeah, he does a pretty good job of milking that. And there we go. Ins actually does go down, so unless this Uber gets a bunch of kills, this could actually be really bad for Lemmings, and it does nothing. Really nice cleanup there from Nunya. Terrible Uber.
Yeah, Lemmings didn't realize that they had just been completely baited in. Although they got the better of the Uber charge, they had the player disadvantage due to inferior spawns, and they've got Crafty Dave up on the high ground, just denying the soldier that went for the high ground with the rest of his Uber. So they played that one a little too greedily and ended up paying for it massively. And now they're back on their last, and they're still 1-2 down in this fixture. So it's on them to turn this game around.
Yeah, they do have up to 10 minutes here to make it happen, so no rush so far, I don't think. But, the longer you wait, the bigger the deficit becomes, basically. Like, you're down by 1 round with 20 minutes left, that's nothing. But if you're still around by 1 when there's like 10 minutes left, then it begins to actually add up, and you can get a little bit crafty. But here we go. We can see another soldier bomb in there from Papi. It did nothing.
These are some terrible bombers by Papi, but on the other hand, Zesty comes in and destroys both Pocket Scout and Medic. A drop from Corndog. But you're not going to pop to that, really, are you? That would have been a disastrous pop either way from Corndog. But he drops his Scout as well, and there was nobody watching top, which really should have been Yellen's job. Disaster all around there for Nunya, and what a great opportunity to capitalize on that from Zesty.
Yeah, very, very great counter bomb there. It pretty much textbook. Like, you have to go in really fast and before they can cover their entrances, and he did. It's still a mistake from Lemmings, but or from Nunya, but great play nonetheless. And so here we go. They have a full Uber advantage. It looks like they're just trying to figure out where they can go in the safest, and they're really taking their time here. The more time they waste, the less ground they will be able to get after they take mid.
Oh, the Uber charge gets forced, and just like a puff of smoke, Nunya evaporate. Only Papi falls. That's a decent trade for them. They lose one player who's going to get the respawn by the time Lemmings push the push forward. And they lose mid for it, but now they've got an Uber advantage, and it's on them to execute slightly better. If they can get in and get the mid for free without using, that'll be a huge positive for them. Or if they're able to pick up more than 1 kill whilst also getting the mid, that'll be another huge win. Those are the ways that you know that you've won in a trade here, because otherwise the Uber charge advantage is just going to flip-flop back over to Honey Badger.
Yeah, like, this is basically the exact same situation that we saw before, just reversed. There we go. Yellen's going to jump in very aggressively here. Actually, a soldier on the high ground doing a ton of damage to Yellen here. I think they're going to have to pop on Yellen or let him die. Actually, he gets saved by an arrow. And so far, the Uber has not been forced, but here comes Sesti. No, he gets taken down. And Honey Badger, he is out, but he's not going to be able to block this with Uber. But as I said, he actually does get it, so he's going to block it with Uber.
Oh, what is that from Condor? That's the worst Uber I've ever seen in my life. Oh my goodness, he was surrounded by players and he drops them like a delicate little baby, smashes its head on the floor. Jesus. Wow, well that was an opportunity completely wasted, because that Uber, if he had taken the trade and not dropped his players, would have been excellent for Nunya. They had them locked in the choke point, they were in a 6v5 situation. Surely that would have been a better trade to take, but Condog drops the ball and drops 2 of his players right in front of him.
That's going to open it up here. Just going to go straight in. There is a sentry gun that they have to deal with, but that gets spammed down very quickly. There's still a demo man on the point. They're going to have to deal with him before they can actually start putting time on the point here. And so far, they're not really doing it. They're trying to just get the soldier instead, and now there's a heavy out instead, and they're all going to be out of ammo. So this is looking like a very difficult push, but here comes the Uber charge. Heavy is so weak. There we go. Finally, Demo Man is still up, but Soldier's on the case, and there we go. Finally, that's going to be a cap.
A round gifted back to Lemmings there to bring them 2-2, and after those first, 3 minutes of this first map, Granary, Nunya have looked a little more all over the place. They need to get some big mids to put them back in. And I'm going to look at Pappy here, because his bombs recently have been quite bad. Mechanically bad, you know? I know what he's trying to do, but the execution on the jump just isn't even working. So he definitely needs to be stepping up and delivering some fat bombs if he wants his the rest of his team to be able to capitalize on this mid.
Yeah, he's gonna just go straight in, doesn't even look. And there we go. He's going straight off onto the high ground, and actually he does get the demo down very weak.
Much better.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Condog is very weak, and so is Honey Badger. So this mid should be over very soon as finally people start falling. Yellen gets the medic kill here, and now it's just Sorks and it's, well, I'd say just the 2 scouts, but the 2 scouts can be very dangerous. Sorks goes onto the medic, actually gets sawed down there by Condog. I would not be running into Sorks like that, but that worked.
3 mids to 1 so far, or is that three mids to 2? I think in terms of Nunya's success so far. But that one again, another dominant one where they managed to kill Honey Badger. Perhaps he doesn't want to be committing so much to these mid fights, given how they've been going so far this match. As we reach the halfway point, it's Nunya in a great opportunity to push, but delivering a bullet to the forehead of Ratslayer is going to change things a little bit here.
And we have a still want to push. Yeah, we have a vaccinator this time around. We saw Honey Badger not opting to actually use it, but they're actually going to push with it. Like they just want second here, and that's pretty brave pushing into an Uber like this. But they see the medic is really far back, and they're just not going to switch it off. Usually, you just run the vaccinator on last, and then you switch off of it. But they're just going to push with it, and the more you push with it, and just constantly have your players hurt, the better. And they're just going to pop up some bubbles here to try to get through this choke. So far, it's really working out, and here comes the Uber Force, and now Honey Badger just has to get out, and then they can re-push with bubbles.
Nunya have beefed this one a little bit as well, because now they're playing into a vaccinator. They should be able to out-heal them if they're just able to get into open ground, but if they keep milling around in this choke point, the fact that they have a faster heal rate is going to be mitigated by the fact they're just stood there eating damage. And Pappy's in, trying to get onto Honey Badger, but he just keeps popping off the damage resist. And so, after all of that, he only took about 20 damage. And Honey Badger is going to be carrying on with this vaccinator all the way through. The Vax, it's not a great medigun if we're going to be honest, but if you're playing against teams that don't understand the ins and outs of how to counter the flaws of its concept, then it can be a huge advantage.
Oh, Honey Badger actually dropped the soldier there. He failed to give him an explosive resistant bubble, and so the soldier actually died. That's a bit unfortunate here. And we do see like the lack of heals there really costing them. But once again, now we're kind of stuck in the same situation we were on last, except now we're holding Yard instead of last. So definitely an improvement, I'd say, but still, it's going to be very difficult to actually push out for Lemmings here at any point. So at some point, like, what they want to do is kill the enemy medic and then pick up his medigun. That's going to be the long-term plan.
Absolutely. It definitely is, you know, that mechanic is now in the game, you're allowed to do it. It drains very quickly, but at least you get onto the medigun. Here comes a bubble though, in from the left-hand side. Zesty being given the damage resist, just so they can try and get in and force Condog. Shut down completely though, and eviscerated with the cow mangler at the end of it. He gets disintegrated, quite literally, and now with 6v5 and an uber charge compared to a couple of bubbles. Surely Nunya have got to use this opportunity to go for a push, but there is a sticky trap right above this door. Rat Slayer might be just poking his little ratty head in a little too far. Gonna get caught in the mouse trap.
Yeah, you should be able to just...
Oh, there we go.
No, how did he not see that? That's really bad.
Destroyed.
3 players go down.
Crushed. And every time Nunya are in a great position to push, they throw it away. They just fall into, I don't know, a terrible situation. Before that, Rat Slayer got picked because he was peeking a sniper sight line. 3 of them die there as 2 peeked the same sticky trap at the same time. I mean, it's a car crash. It would be unlucky, except that it's happening over and over again, and it's just typical of them not taking enough caution when they're trying to push.
Yeah, like luck has nothing to do with that. And also the mediguns are just not effective. Nice airshot there by Yellen. Really hits Ceci there, but Ceci does get the Uber Force off, so I don't think he cares. As Yellen tries to jump in on the medic, but you can't do that when he has explosive resistance. That's kind of one of the things you can't really do against the vaccinator. You can't bomb the medic with a single class. So pretty bad jump in there. Finally, they are getting the kills though. Elico barely surviving. I don't think he's actually going to be able to get out alive. Well, looks like I'm wrong so far. So he gets an arrow and actually barely survives. And Honey Badger's just still stuck on this vaccinator, and this could actually bite them. I think I don't remember if it was Lemmings that got stuck on a vaccinator on Viaduct for too long, and then they lost the game. I think it was. So that it has happened to them before in an official. So they must be wary of it at this point.
Zesty was hiding to go for a play there, but instead he's taking a bubble and he's going to try and break through the left-hand side. Whoa, he's so high up in the air, gets destroyed by Yellen actually, but Elico gets the trade kill. That's a soldier down for both sides. Rat Slayer really weak as well. 11 HP gets picked up by his spam rocket. As Sorex falls, they're trading 1 for 1, but with an extra player down on the side of Lemmings. Condog actually has to pop his Uber off though as well. But of course, Honey Badger running the vaccinator, so it's quite an interesting situation with how the mediguns are going down. Weak. Honey Badger is so weak here.
This is a pause. I guess it is.
It kills me every time. I don't understand what it is about TF2, but these pauses, they drain my vim and vigor. They just hit instantly. I feel like the game has died every time it happens. I'm just looking at the position of these 2 teams. This could be really good though for Nunya. I reckon this is a 1 round at the end of the day. Yeah,
definitely. Like Honey Badger is not in a very good position. That goes without saying. He's so weak. Like just almost. I don't think there's a wrong decision here for Nunya. You know, I say that knowing that they've made a lot of bad decisions. But you know, if you focus the demo man, that's a good decision. If you focus the medic, that's probably also a good decision. It just seems like it can't go wrong here. And then you can build up an Uber advantage, or you can just push off of no heals and man advantage.
The weird thing here for Honey Badger, though, is that he's been using bubbles and resistances to keep Elico alive. But because Elico's been doing damage to try and keep Honey Badger alive, they've both got the worst of this situation. Because Honey Badger's got a good position, but he's only got 18 health. So 1 spam rocket and he's dead. Which is probably going to happen. Like, if Pappy's got any sense, he'll turn around and just try and fire a spam rocket at Honey Badger and kill him instantly. And Elico's got all the health to survive, but he's got no ammo loaded, and he's in Z with 100. He's like in a terrible position. So surely they're both going to go down.
Insta-die, yeah.
Both. And they both fall. So if only Honey Badger had the health and the position, rather than trying to keep his demo alive, he may have survived that one.
Yeah, but here we go. Source actually does turn around a little bit. Takes down Hems and even a sniper from Inns. So a very strong effort here, but Yellen just comes in from up top and takes down 3 players, and that's a cap. So basically exactly what we expected to happened here, and that's a 3rd round for Nunya. They're really showing up here. It looked like they were beginning to falter a little bit, but now they've come back, and they're back in the driver's seat.
3-2, as you say. And, you know, I'm just going to use my prophetic powers to think ahead. Probably like a minute-long round here, if we're being real. That pause probably came at the end of the round. I'm calling another fast round for Nunya. They're setting up top. Actually, they've been locked out quite a little bit. Elico doing a little bit of damage to those scouts. It's really made them quite passive. Sorex hits Yellen for a little tickle as he flies past him, but Pappy's got the better end of Elico. Yellen falls though, and surely Pappy is going to as well. It all comes down to whether Condog and Ratslayer can stay alive, but they're getting attacked from all angles. Zesty's the last hope for his team, but he's come in and plowed them. What a 2v1 as Pappy foolishly goes away to try and grab some health instead of helping his team. Baited. That's what you call baited, son.
Absolutely. That was really close, but then finally, and there's the pause, so not quite.
It wasn't a quick round then. No.
So,
I tried it.
Get spoiled.
I'm not a fortune teller. Did I ever tell you that, Beta? I actually cannot tell the future.
I'm shocked to know this, but looks like we have a last defense with sentry guns, and is that a vaccinator? It is indeed, and a heavy. So just full defensive setup here. This is pretty much the standard setup at this point. It's just so powerful and difficult to push on, but they're obviously going to try anyway. So here comes Lemmings. They're going to just tiptoe in on the right side. Actually do a lot of damage to Yellen, but Sesti goes down for it. So far it's just an even trade, and there's still a sentry gun up, and there's still a heavy up, and the vaccinator's up, and they spend so much time trying to kill the medic that everything has just been absorbed at this point. Finally the sentry goes down, but it's just way too late, and the heavy's not even weak. So great hold here from Nunya.
They've got an opportunity to push. No demo, no pocket. That's a lot of spam damage removed from the equation. What's a scout going to do? Just pepper you from the outside? Get out of here, Sorex. We don't care about you. That's what Nunya are thinking, you know. I'm giving you an insight into the minds of Nunya as they go up and cap that point. And in terms of the Ubers, Condog switched back to his regular medigun, as has Honey Badger. So they're both sat at roughly the same thing. Honey Badger's actually got a slight advantage, but by the time they get around and engage, I really doubt that they'll go for something hyper aggressive within the next couple of seconds and try and use that ad. So it's just going to be a slow spam battle to take this point and a trade of Ubers at some point.
They're actually going in through the right side and spamming that way, and that's really smart, I think. It's a very good angle, and there we go. Yellen once again having a pretty good Uber here. It's going to force out a lot of damage in the splitting of the Uber, and now they're one up here. So let's see if they can actually follow up on the Yellen's good Uber here. It looks like they can. Very strong showing here from Nunya, just completely shutting down this push, just cleaning everyone up. They've covered all the entrances, and now they can just push into mid here.
Sorex went for what I would call an optimistic 1v5 at the end of that Uber and got promptly shut down, so possibly not the best use of his resources. Nunya looking ready to come into mid as well, and they've even got an advantage from being able to heal up all of their players. Honey Badger was disconnected for a time. Trade kill on the right hand side, but they've actually strayed a little far in and they're losing players for it. Zesty seeing if he can punish them, but it takes a swift meat shot in the back from Hens. But they're the only two players left alive.
Yeah, but luckily for him, Condog, he has a scout with him, and that means that you can just run super fast and get out. Like back in the day, you could probably have chased down the medic, but when he's linked up with the scout, there's no way. So even Ubers here. Looks like the Lemmings are trying to push in here anyway. I thought it might have been like a fake push, but no, it's just a full one. So they're just going to Uber in here. Both Ubers have been split quite a bit, so now it's just a DM fight. See if they can actually use the point here. Eloquent with a nice pipe. That's going to turn it in the Lemmings' favor. And so far, Lemmings are just coming out ahead here. Just one up remaining, and he's going to go down as well. So 3-3, completely even game. Just keeps going back and forth. Whenever we think one team is getting ahead, the other team just goes, nope, not happening on my watch. And here we go, 3-3.
And we've only got 6 minutes left as well. Having said that, the pace of the game so far has been thick and fast. So I'm waiting to see whether we've got another hot round on the heels of the previous one. Again, going to be watching the soldiers because I think that's been the main plan from Nunya, is to have Crafty Dave and Hens sat fairly passive along with Ratslayer pumping out a bit of sticky damage and then switching over to scouts. And again, they've got Yellen going in for a high bomb, but Sorex has read it completely. They know what's happening from Nunya now. They're just playing too one-dimensionally. Crafty Dave up top hits the shots, but can he actually finish off the second one? I don't think so. You can't put all of your eggs in one crafty basket. So again, though, Condog seems to be playing it well. You know, whenever Yellen or one of their soldiers gets shut down really early on, he's always able to escape.
Yeah, he's been very good at actually just making it out alive here. And that's actually a bit of a feat on Granary. It's one of the easier maps to just get caught with your pants down and just get completely demolished before you can even begin to get out. Looks like we have Sesti on the suicide here once again. He's going in and actually gets the Uber Force out. Great job by Zesty. I don't know if Kondok had to actually pop that one. He seemed to be very far away from Zesty there. So I don't think the damage would have actually done the job there. But now here comes the Uber from Honey Badgers. They're not going to wait for spawners. They're just going to go straight in and try to kill everyone. So far, they only got one, but it's a demo man, so that's really important. So now they can
Look
begin
at
playing
all of
the
these
point.
spawners.
Yeah, that could really turn things around. Just a bit too slow here from Lemmings. They went in 4v4, and that can work if you actually kill people, but you know, you only have 3 players to actually do damage. So Hem's overextending here, trying to get the medic on the exit, but that's not going to work. So now both teams are just kind of building here.
And now that early pop from Kondog was clearly all planned, you know, that was part of his master plan, Vita, because that has now given him a 30% advantage that they can use to push with. So genius Kondog pops to a light breeze so that he can push in later on.
Of course, nobody pushes with 30% advantage with 4 minutes remaining. Yeah, they're just going to stand in the door, tank a bunch of spam, and then not push, right? Yeah. That's kind of how it goes,
The fools. The fools. They should have gone from top. They could have taken a fat yellow Uber.
Yeah, they probably didn't think about that. But it's just so ingrained in people that you can't really push out on kind of relast with a small Uber advantage. I would agree, actually. It's just kind of unfortunate. Doorways are just a little bit too small. You have to pop on entry, and then the medic can just be so far out. It's just super risky to do. And you know, I think they might have done it early on in the game, but now there's 4 minutes left. Actually, 3 at this point. So I see where they were coming from. Looks like they're gearing up to send in another suicide, or maybe just create space for Inz, who's come back as a sniper. Let's see, can Inz do it? He's peeking. He found another sniper.
Crafty Dave is making me annoyed with how often he's moving this around. It's like he's got OCD and he's trying to find the perfect point to put this sentry down, because he just keeps moving it all the time, and it seems like whenever they move it, there's somebody up top from Lemmings who's waiting to go for a bomb, and is just literally waiting for the sound cue of him moving the sentry to go in. But they did lose 3 players there while I was rambling on, and now Yellen's going to take this Uber charge at the same time as Lemmings contest the point, but it looks like Lemmings got the worst end of this, and as the spawners come in, unless they're oh, whoa, big rockets from Coldheart though to switch the fight around.
Really turn things around here, and Nunya, they're gonna have to be very careful. They can get overwhelmed very easily here. Crafty Dave, he's gonna have to hit some of those meat shots that we were expecting from him, but no, he just gets completely swamped and taken down. And now, with 2 minutes remaining, we have Lemmings up by 1 point. It's definitely not over, but one successful mid here, and they can just lock this game down.
The only silver lining here for Nunya is that it happened with 2 minutes left on the clock. Because if it happened even a minute later that they go down 4-3 and fail that push out from last, then they don't really have an opportunity to reply. So now they've been gifted one last chance. Last chance saloon for Ratslayer and his crew. Does sound like a Wild West nickname, but Ince is straight onto him. The Demoman takes an arrow there, and Hems picks up the kill. So now they've got 1 pick. Can they snowball it into even more? Pappy and Yellen coming in with the big bombs. Ellicott surely going to go down. Zesty as well. They're so weak, and this is the opportunity that Nunya were waiting for. They can surely take this one forwards.
Yeah, Honey Badgers, he definitely sniffed out what was happening here, and he's just getting out. And I think they're just going to hold last. They're not going to take any chances. We actually see an Uber advances right now for Kondok. I don't know if they know, but they have popped the Uber here, so they dropped 1 person, but look at this, Honey Badger is so close to having Uber, and there we go, he's just gonna pop it. Still 1 minute remaining.
Why did he pop? I don't understand why he popped there.
Yeah.
What, did I miss something, or was that just the world's most badly positioned Uber charger ever? Because now Crafty Dave's got behind as well, just as they cap this one up. Ellicott's on like 20 health. Hems is coming in from the left as well. He's got a really strong opportunity to finish up both of these kills here. If he can just land a shot onto Zesty, all it needs is 1 shot, Hems. He can't do it. Oh, he's just got it, and now it's only the medic going to be able to defend with 30 seconds left. They're going to tie up the game and send it to a golden cap, Peter.
Yeah, that Uber there from Honey Badger definitely messed things up. Like, I understand the timing of it. I was backing him, and like the door closed, and then he popped Uber. So I think he was just going off of some bad information or assumptions, and then everyone had actually run back instead of running forward. So I think he's kind of the victim of some bad information, if I had to guess. But the Uber was definitely bad regardless. So now we're stuck with this this stalemate, and it's just all going to come down to this one. And that's also going to mean that low panda cannot be caught, because Lemmings would need 6 points to actually catch up with them and be even in points. So
yeah, so they won't even get the compensation prize. Compensation? I mean consolation. The words are similar, man. Yeah. Consolation prize of drawing with them in terms of points and losing on the head-to-head. Now they're just firmly out of contention. Nobody will even keep them in the same conversation. So, Beta, how is this golden cap going to go down?
I'm just going to stick to my guns and say Lemmings going to get this. I think they've been looking stronger overall. It's just really those mid-fights. Like Nunya, they're really dangerous because when they win the mid-fight, they tend to just roll and they will cap. They've been very effective at actually converting a mid-fight win into a last cap. So that's definitely the thing they have to look out for. But I believe in Lemmings. I think they're overall the better team. And you know, we see a lot of golden caps being slowed down a bit where people are less decisive and then they just don't push as fast. And then I think that's going to favor Lemmings a little bit. But what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. Nunya, whenever they've been able to get control of a mid, Honey Badgers tended to get caught, and that has led to a quick round capture, or in general, Lemmings are very slow to back out of a mid or even realize that it's going badly. Nunya, on the other hand, though, are playing these so one-dimensionally. They're bombing their soldiers in and just landing on a crate or doing a high jump and just landing somewhere. And it's not like they're really well coordinated and are pushing across at the same time and creating a dual-pronged attack that Lemmings have to deal with either one or the other. They're just bombing their soldiers in and then pushing across like 5 seconds later. It should be incredibly easy, and it has been at times for Lemmings to deal with it. So yeah, I'm going to go with a Lemmings 1 mid-fight here. If they play it in any way properly, then they should be able to pick up the mid-fight. Nunya, at the moment, just seem like a broken record in that they're sending Yellen and Pappy in for a bomb, seeing how it goes, and then they'll push across if they get anything done.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of really effective Ubers here from Yellen. I think he's been doing really well, so I can't wait to see his stats. I think they're going to be very impressive. But we are live here, so the golden cap for the map 1 of Season 26, Week 7 matchup here between Nunya and Lemmings. It's all going to come down to this on this first map. So here we go. Eliko once again being a lot faster, it seems. Just going to box off mid, but taking a lot of damage to do so.
Big bombs in from both of the soldiers from Lemmings this time, actually, and they're getting crushed. They just couldn't find the damage. Pappy, on the other hand, though, has picked up Honey Badger. It's a 2v1 at the end. Eliko could hit the pipes! Holy balls, what am I watching? He's going to be able to get the health care as well, and actually hits a third onto Crafty Dave. That was almost the most clutch situation I've ever seen at the end there. But Crafty Dave on 10 HP survives. What am I watching?
That was so clutch. That was looking like really bad. Like double scout being alive is so good. But just one. Now it's going to be a really slow cap. Both medics did die, so this is a very even situation. I was looking so bad, but now it's this even situation which we both agreed will probably favor Lemmings. So just absolutely huge play there by Elikor. Absolutely insane. He's going to just sticky things up now and wait. Until both medics have Uber, and then we're probably going to see a suicide. Sesti is definitely gearing up. He's moving forward, but
he wants it.
Back off.
Has he got the Market Gardener equipped, actually? Because I haven't seen him go for that the whole time, and that's a Zesty special. And Granary's actually really good for it as well, because you can get bombs without the other team being able to tell that you're coming until the very last minute. He's going on the left now, through the choke point. Double skip jump, he's in, but they were expecting it. He's so high up, man. Oh, he got wrecked as well with an air shot from Yellen. Wow, see you later, Zesty.
Yeah, he just high-fived this guy there and just got sent back up there. It was like a double high-five. And we might see a counter-sack. We definitely see some aggression here on the left side for Red. And Crafty Dave is actually behind here. He might just be trying to take this 1v1 with the scout. They're just not firing. What are they doing? He actually gets onto the medic that baits the scout out, but finally gets taken down. But there's also a soldier also gets taken down. So Pappy and Crafty Dave going in there, trying to get the medic, but they are not successful. And Hem's even going down, so that's 3. That might be way too much, and I think that's just going to be a free mid here. Not exactly optimal, to say the least.
Completely free mid, neither team using their Uber charge. Hems is going to get the forward spawn, and that means that Nunya in position to hold this yard area, but given how bad both teams have been at actually locking off areas, this is probably going to prompt Lemmings to just try and take it. They're actually just going to shove Zesty in. This has not worked the last 5 times they've tried it, but they're just going to do it again anyway.
And nobody sees it coming the 6th time, you know?
I agree. I'm a big fan of that, actually. You know, at some point, they're gonna think to themselves, right, it would be really stupid if they did that again. And that's when they let their guard down. You just have to keep doing it again and again and again and again until they get to that point mentally.
True mastermind at work here.
Oh, he's gone spy as well. They'll never expect it.
Oh,
They
man.
certainly won't expect it the 4th time he runs it.
Yeah, like, I think the plan is to go in here and die and then come back and spy again. Because, like, that would be stupid. It's so obvious.
True, true.
Also, he's switching weapons a lot, so they can actually hear if they have proper headsets.
Oh, when you're cloaked?
Yeah, like, you can hear it. Oh, and they found
Wow, I got spotted instantly. Maybe they were listening for the weapon switch. Zesty, you throw in, my man. Okay, we'll see if he respawns on spy again. Takes our advice. It's an unconventional play, to say the least. But it's actually yelling him with a big bomb, seeing what he can get done. Lands immediately onto Honey Badger. 2 nice rockets caught him right between the crack. And he goes down. Or rather, it doesn't go down, but the Uber goes down.
Yeah, that's basically the same thing. Okay, that's not the same thing, but the result
Very
will be
similar.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the push will be coming out here for Nunya, almost certainly. Like, you know, 7 would probably just still hold and maybe go sniper and wait it out. You know, you can't push too aggressively in Golden Cap 7, but, you know, I think Nunya will go in here. It looks like they're going to go in through the left side. They're being so apprehensive, and there's actually no stickies here. Now they know. But look at this Poppy, he's just in alone. I think he feels baited at this point. But somehow he's not dead yet. Here we go. Finally, some soldiers jumping in, trying to get the force, and oh my god, they get the force at the cost of 2 players plus a lot of weak ones. And Crafty Dave actually wins a 1v1 against Cold Heart. Really clutch there. So actually a very clean mid cap here coming out. It was looking pretty bad. They were very apprehensive. They just kind of dawdled in Victor, but eventually they did manage to push through.
And that's put both teams in essentially the opposite situation they were in about 5 minutes ago, because old Lemmings are now sat with a considerable Uber advantage, 40%. They're going to push with it. I mean, even with a 40%, it's still quite risky, because if it goes badly, you don't really have much room to fall back before you're on your own last and in real dire straits. So it looks like they just sat there. I mean, this is very cowardly play, the yellow-bellied Lemmings, but it's become the classic decision at this point. You know, people don't want to take risks because risks mean lost rounds.
I don't know. I still think you could have done a suicide while you had the Uber advantage, because that makes their repush availability, like a window, a lot smaller. So a quick suicide would have made sense. Like, if you're not going to push, might as well send in a suicide, in my opinion. But let's see, we have no off classes going on, so it's just going to be up to presumably like Zesty or someone to bomb in, maybe to see if he can get the medic to pop. They've been pretty successful so far at getting Condog when he's on middle, but so far Zesty's just content to just spam it out and wait it.
Oh, Pappy misses a speed shot there as he tried to come in through choke. That would have been lovely. I mean, I guess the advantage of that play as well is that if it goes badly and you don't hit your speed shot, you can just walk out, and you can try that as many times as you like until you nail the timing. So I think he's going to go for it again. So the idea of this play is that he's going to jump in, you hit the speed shot, and you go a little bit further. Actually, that was a skip jump he hit there rather than a speed shot, so it didn't give him the same amount of velocity going forwards. Just slight differences in how you execute the rocket jump. And that meant that he just flew kind of much lower to the ground and much less quickly, so it was an easy kill for their scouts. So this is now going to be the situation for Lemmings, apparently. They didn't like the idea of a 40% advantage, but they do like the idea of a Roma pick who's about to spawn, so a bit questionable in my opinion.
Yeah, that's some weird decision making, and they also do just back off. I guess they were just trying to entice anyone from Nunes to come forward so they can kill him, but no one fell for the bait. So now we're stuck here again, and at least people are actually sending in suiciders. So, like, there should be some entertainment for us here while we just wait it out. There's no time limit, so we could sit here forever. until, well, at least for 7 more minutes, right? Until the timer runs out. But at least teams are actually making an effort to try and break this. But I think at this point you're almost better off just having a sniper. Right, just send in a scout or soldier and then just go sniper. I think that could work.
Sniper's a really safe play, yeah, but there are also so many other things that you could do. Like, you can try and, if you're in Nunya's position, who are the ones that have the room to be able to make these plays, you can do like a fake push on the right-hand side, absorb a bit of damage, keep all the heals on your pocket, and just have your pocket sack. Or you can try and rush somebody on the left-hand side and see if you can rush 2 people in and take down Zesty. Actually, Pappy goes in for a play through the choke area, I think, and it gets killed. So that's going to be them resetting for a little while. I'd like to actually see them try something like a 2-man sack as well, because Lemmings look like they want to push off 1 pick, so they'll certainly push off 2, and then you can get an advantage in the Uber trade.
Yeah, but here we go. This is a very aggressive push. Zesty jumped in very aggressively, and here we go. The Ubers have been forced off. Honey Badger had a slightly better Uber, but he's having to share it a lot, so it's not that much better. But Elikor once again hitting some really nice pipes before getting taken down. So is his damage enough to actually turn the tide of this battle? The soldiers on the high ground just doing so much work for Lemmings right now. It's going to keep on jumping up there. And you actually see a soldier in the skybox. That's Poppy. He is down. But Yellen has come in and cleaned up. And now it's just Sorix and a medic. You know, I say just Sorix and a medic. But that's all it was. And look at that. Nunya actually comes out ahead.
Yeah. And there's the problem with pushing into Granary middle as well, is that even if you have that single pick, the spawns are still pretty close for the team that are in control of mid, which means that it's essentially a 6v6 fight that just happens to have slightly less spam when you first enter the midpoint. So Lemmings took a risk. Can't blame them for that. They tried to make the play happen, didn't quite work for them. Now Ince is on heavy defending.
Yeah, this is the classic defense. Once again, the vaccinator and everything is so hard to deal with, so you have to basically focus all the other people except for the heavy. And so far they have killed 1 person, but it's just taking them way too long to actually do this. But as I say that, they're just slowly getting these kills, but I don't think they have enough damage.
Oh, they're trapped in now as well, Beta. Yeah. They're completely trapped in a corner. This is devastatingly bad for Nunya. Their position at the end of that fight was appalling. Like, they seemed like they had a rough idea that they had to take everybody down outside of the heavy, which is what you were saying. They managed to pick off 3 targets that were outside of the radius of Honey Badger's bubbles, but they weren't quick enough. They didn't use their Uber effectively enough to pick off those stragglers, and then they just slowly make a walk towards the spawn door and feed into the maw of Lemmings at the end there, like the proverbial Lemmings, in fact.
Yeah, indeed. Like, whenever I see Lemmings utilize the Lemming strat, I'm a little bit happy, just because a part of me loves puns. But either way, we're back here again.
God, I love this area of the map, Beta, don't you? There's so much of interest around mid to second.
Yeah, I think we need to install like a launch pad or something. You know, like one of those arrow things that you can just walk over and then it just launches you into the enemy. That's what this map needs.
They've got a 30% advantage here. Honey Badger is going to take it aggressively up top, but they catch a pill immediately through that tiny choke point. Right, Slayer gets an extra pick as well with the sticky trap onto a pocket from Lemmings. Disaster, disaster, disaster. And it's only Elikor and Honey Badger left alive. This is going to be a last defense once again against full Uber advantage. The question now becomes, can Nunya convert it this time? Or actually, there's a sticky trap on second here that Elikor had the time to put up. It's going to get spotted. Yeah, it's been dead. So
we
as I
see,
said,
actually, Honey Badger runs back and switches to the vaccinator.
yeah, it's going to be a carbon copy of last time. It just comes down to their execution again. So, as you were saying, can they pick off these isolated players outside on the periphery?
They get Cold Heart right away, so far so good. At some point, they're just going to have to focus down this heavy. He's taking a lot of damage right now, and he actually does go down. It's looking super good for Nunya, but all of a sudden, everyone just dies, and this is another last hold. Just a medic, and there we go. Honey Badger not switching off of the vaccinator either. He definitely had a chance to do it here, but he just doesn't want to. So this should definitely be like a mid-push coming out for them here, because that's kind of how you want to play the vaccinator. You want to constantly be pushing, so you take damage, so you can build it fast, so you can pop a lot of bubbles while they don't have an Uber.
Absolutely, and they're really fast moving forwards here as well. This is actually great play by Lemmings. They were in mid through the choke point before Condor had even spawned. The fact that he got such a late spawn there, the spawn wave after all of the rest of his players had died, has really hurt Nunya, because now they're in a position where they can try and defend yard, try and pop some bubbles, but they're probably going to lose this fight as well because of the choke pointy nature of Granary and the fact that they've got the bubbles to work with. So surely Hem's going to die here. He's actually putting in a ton of work, but has fallen in the end. Condor desperately trying to buy time to get his Uber charge up as Lemmings try and press this forward as fast as they can.
Yeah, Condog has been pressured out here. He's on 85%, so he almost has the Uber here. And if he's lucky, he will get it, but Cold Heart is in. He's going to dive straight onto the medic. Gets completely denied by Scout, though. Actually, still manages to get off one good rocket, but Condog so far has taken 0 damage, it looks like. And this should surely be a repush, right? Like, you can't just sit back and let them get all these bubbles for free. Like, you're not going to have a better advantage, I don't think, than this.
Absolutely, they have to push here. This is a 50% ad pushing into the bubbles as well. So you both have the healing advantage and you have a large Uber advantage. Like, what else are they waiting for here, Nunya? They're essentially just waiting for Lemmings to push in and hoping that they fail, hoping that they're able to take it. But at that point, Honey Badger's going to have 4 bubbles, and they're possibly going to have a sniper
my
pick.
God.
What? With the benefit of hindsight, Condog is going to be kicking himself that they didn't push in there, because now the Uber has been taken firmly out of his grasp, and this is a gifted round and a gifted map over to Lemmings. They can't fail.
Well, you say that. Never write it off. But here we go. Like, these bubbles should just be way too much. There is still different kinds of damage going on, but no, even getting Condog for the second time just to rub it in there, salt in the wound. But Lemmings gonna take this in a heartbreaker round. I don't know how many times both teams were back on last, but it was a lot. It was very back and forth.
What a game. That was incredibly close, though, between both teams.
Yeah, we were both very wrong in our predictions, and thank God for that.
We were. I mean, you said that they would win, so
I said they would win convincingly.
Convincing? I mean, that was. I was convinced that they won. The evidence is in front of my face. I'm convinced they did in fact win, so I'll give you that, Beether. They convincingly won.
Sweet. All right. Let's look at some logs. See if I was right about Yellen being good. Surely he will be right. Like, he was doing so much work.
Well, he did have the top damage, 291 DPM. He got 24 kills as well, which is the most kills on the server. That's a big boost for his old metrics. But yeah, as you were saying, he was doing really well. The Ubers from him looked like they had a purpose as well, which is more than you could say for the Lemmings Ubers for the most part. But that Vaccinator play at the end and the fact that Nunya were so cautious to push off big Uber advantages and picks that they had at various times bit them really badly when it came to the golden cap. They were playing with so much aggression and a real killer instinct during the game. You know, as soon as they had an advantage, they would try and snowball it forwards into a round. And in the golden cap, they lost all of that. The pressure, it seems, got to them, and they started second guessing themselves.
Yeah, a lot of people play. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, what we're seeing on stream is not the golden cap included. I looked at it real quick. It was somewhat the same picture. Yellen was top damage again, and Sorx was having a lot of kills. So, you know, it was pretty similar. Of course, there was the big snipe there from Ints at the end, which was sealed the deal. You know, there was a missed opportunity for Nunya, but then they also just got punished super hard by the sniper. So that's a heartbreaker for sure.
Crafty Dave as well, putting in big performances for his team. As was Sorex, really. They were both doing pretty well. That's a matchup that was a lot of fun to watch and is going to be more relevant when we move into Badlands. And Elikor was pumping out a ton of damage as well, completely outplaying Ratslayer, who I thought had a mediocre game, to be honest. And, you know, I don't think it really, though, came down to individual plays, because overall I felt like Nunya actually had the better individual talent on the roster that was actually expressed during this game. But the way that they were beefing certain pushes and being unable to hold out Lemmings at times, and honestly didn't have a clue, it seemed, how to deal with the Vaccinator when they were actually trying to convert last pushes, really hurt them pretty hard. And Badlands is another map where you can play that Vaccinator defense really well, and now Honey Badger knows that they don't have a plan to deal with it.
Yeah, you could definitely see him trying to abuse that. Also, you say there were no individual plays, but I just want to point out that Yellen had 19 air shots. That's a lot of air shots. That's the important stat. So I'm going to go ahead and say that that was the deciding factor. In
All of those air shots.
Yes. I know they lost the map, but still, that was the deciding factor. So he actually won the regular.
I thought you meant the deciding factor as in he was going for too many air shots. That's why he lost.
No, I don't think so.
Air shots win games. You know it.
Yes.
You know it. Okay, let's have a think about how the play style that we've seen is going to translate over to Badlands then. There's the golden cap logs, by the way. Sorex absolutely pounding. Crafty Dave putting in a reasonable performance as well. Elikor with a bit of a clutch. And Ratslayer at the bottom. So, do you think Elikor is going to have a big advantage over Ratslayer moving into Badlands then? Classically, the mid can be a bit of a Demoman war. Not so much as map like Gullywash or Snakewater perhaps, but classically it has been a very Demoman-centric map.
Yeah, it usually seems more scout-centric, right? And the reason why it was Demoman-centric was because the Demoman's job was to shut down the scouts, and that was a lot more easily done before the nerf. As these days, it's not quite the same. But yeah, you can definitely still lock them out of house. You can do a lot of damage to try to walk up slope. So you can definitely still do a lot as Demoman, and being fast can be very important. I don't really know how good Elikor is on these mid fights. I haven't actually seen him play on Badlands. I don't remember. I haven't played against him on Badlands either, so I don't actually know how good he is at this. But I don't know. I don't really think. I think the deciding factor will be the scouts and whether or not Cold Heart can actually get a good performance in. And is damn easy in the game now.
It does look like Dameezy is in the game. Is that going to be a replacement for Cold Heart? Surely? Is Dameezy going to be playing Pocket now? I mean, I have no information here beyond you, Beta. You're my source of all the inside track on these teams.
Oh man, that inside track, you're not going to enjoy this ride then. So, as I don't actually know what's going on. I do have him on my friend list, but I'm just not going to ask him.
I like the mystery. I like the mystery.
Yeah. I don't know. I always thought that the Dameezy was synonymous with Champ GG, but I guess not. I guess he's on Lemmings now. But either way, I was saying Cold Heart had to put in a good performance. She's been struggling quite a bit in the few games I've been watching, so maybe I just circumnavigate that whole thing, because
They've just gone for the upgrade.
Yeah, probably. I don't actually know why Dameezy has not been playing as much this season. I guess he just left at some point. I don't know, Champ GG got too toxic, I guess. I don't know, too many Brits.
Well, in terms of how that's going to affect the team, Dameezy, I think, is unquestionably an upgrade over Cold Heart Mel. In the last game, she was getting outplayed quite a bit by Yellen on the pocket roll as well. I expect that to change in this game. Dameezy's quite a talented player. That's going to be interesting to see what he adds to the team as well. The soldier duo is going to be slightly improved, but this is really not that much of a soldier map. So let's see what happens then, Beta, on our first mid of the second map with Nunya against Lemmings.
Yeah, both demos immediately eat a pipe or sticky from each other. Sword go down right away to Ratslayer, and Honey Badger gets bombed right away. Honey Badger, however, does not die immediately. Does eventually get picked off though, and now everyone from Lemmings just desperately try to jump in on Condor. Condor is on half health, and Inz actually comes in and gets one. And oh my god, they're actually turning this around. Just 2 on 3. I can't believe this is actually working. Look at Elikor even taking down Hems. That was unbelievable. Just the double team just taking this mid. Unbelievable.
Ellicott was pounding at the end of Granary as well, and now he's carried that one forwards into the beginning of Badlands, it seems. So it's going to be them picking up the first mid fight. Condog, though, survived the mid, whereas Honey Badger didn't. So that is going to be an uber advantage towards him. Nunya being able to take up the choke. Sorex is taking a rocket. Can he survive here? Actually, just duking and dodging, but it is eventually going to go down. And Ratslayer is taking the uber charge. He's going to attempt to bomb in, surely? Is he going to want to pick up more than the single kill? Ince, again, trying to wiggle his way out of there, but Yellen's got the read. So they pick up 3 kills. That should be enough to push forwards into second as well.
Yeah, they have to be a little bit careful. They can't get their medic too close to Honey Badger. You know, then you just uber and take down their medic, and you're in a pretty good position with your spawns. But as long as they just don't do that, they'll be fine. And there we go. They get the uber force out, and Condog is really safe in his own choke. So great uber force there by Nunya. Great play by them. Now they can just back off and build uber, and then push wherever they want to.
Now, wherever they want to, currently looks like it might be the choke area, but Honey Badger and Ellicor are getting into house, which is a very odd position to hold in when you've got a large uber disadvantage. They're in factly, I just made up a word. They are in factly very close to the choke point, but now they've backed off towards trash. And Condog's letting his uber advantage trickle away, as he was at the end of Granary, and that turned out to be catastrophic for the decision making on that map. Again, they've only got about 5 seconds to be able to engage with Honey Badger before he has his uber charge active. That window of opportunity dribbling away right now as Ratslayer chooses to engage, and they find that they're in an uber charge with Ellicor picking up 2 on the flank. Disaster for Nunya.
Once again, just everything dying in quick succession, and Yellen is desperately trying to get out with his life. Looks like he might just make it, but oh no, Sesti is having none of it. Finally takes him out. So a full wipe. Did anyone even die? I guess Sorgs maybe spawned. No, he didn't even. Yeah, so utter disaster right here. We see as Sniper actually in forward spawn, almost getting the medic there. Unfortunately, Crafty Dave misses the shot. So he's going to try and go engineer and hold it in that way. We have 80% advantage so far for Honey Badger, so we're going to see a push coming in very soon here, as soon as they get this built.
They got a huge uber advantage. I'm interested to see what Ellicor does on this at the moment, because he's really stepped up in terms of the impact that he's delivering for his team, and it is going to be him leading an uber charge forward, seeing if he can get onto Condog. He's taking him down to only 50 health, gets him with that final sticky as well. Pipe onto Ratslayer, see if he can take down the Pyro as well. He's kind of stuck behind the point, but if he can do any damage at all, it'll help the rest of his team. But it's only Sorex and Honey Badger left alive at the end of this fight, and they're just going to be trying to heal each other up. Honey Badger, I think, there was lost for a second. He wants to get back in as well.
He's going for it, and he dodges the sentry, but no, didn't quite get the arrow in time. So
I'm not sure whether dodging the sentry is the right word to use there, because he just tanked it. He just ran straight through. He was like, yeah, I can take this level 2 sentry. It'll only knock me down to 40 health as I stand on the point. That's, he's having his daily dose of tagliatelle, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, as long as he actually gets onto the point and just has the right angle inside of it, he will actually be somewhat shielded from it. He didn't make it, obviously. It was probably a little optimistic, especially with all the spawns coming in. But, you know, that sucks. As Ellicor actually eats a big charge shot coming out from one of the soldiers. I don't actually even know who's running that. It looks like that's Papi. Just doing a lot of charge shots. As both soldiers are spamming on bottom right, the old good, I don't know, is it Dignitas that came up with that did that a lot?
Epsilon, I think.
Yeah, probably. Olden days. It's a classic, but it's very low risk, so everyone likes it. So we actually saw a sniper take down a soldier right there. So we can see Demi, he's so far in, just putting on a ton of pressure, and they've just been allowed to walk all the way in here. And here we come. Uber finally gets forced. Demi's going to have to jump onto them to actually get the super force, and he will get out alive too. Oh, Sesti does go down though, so that's unfortunate. I don't think this is going to be quite enough for them to actually push back in, but looks like
they're still holding an upper lobby. This is crazy positioning from Lemmings as well. They dropped 2, Nunya have the late Uber charge, and they stay inside upper lobby with a sniper. I mean, if they back out to choke there and play around their sniper, they're probably going to be able to defend Spire, because all they need is one headshot to turn the fight completely. Their spawns are so far away. But now they've just let Nunya straight out, gifted them 3 frags, and Nunya are probably going to be able to hold this on the repush as well. Oh, Hems dies though. How is this fight going to end up?
Yeah, it's so close right now. And oh my god, Elikor catching 3 players there with some nice sticky traps. And they're actually going all the way back to last. It looks like they want to do some spawn camping, but now they just decide against it. It's just only going to be ins on the sniper rifle. He'll be looking for the medic. He has not spawned yet. And here we go. So far, like...
Oh my god, Pappy has just come up with the fattest play in the world. He went and blocked second, knowing that that was the only hope for them to get back in the round, because the entirety of Lemmings was spawn camping. There's no way that they lose that round unless he goes and blocks second. So he takes it into his own hands, wins the 1v1 against Sorex, and now he's delaying the entirety of Lemmings. They can't even cap Spire. What a
really
play.
Great play there by Poppy. That was really huge. I was looking forward to see a bunch of clowny spawn camping, but he was having none of that. And here we go. Finally, the Spire cap comes out. There's still a big Uber advantage to take and to use. So Cesti has gone Spy on Uber advantage. Okay, yeah, I think they got yelled at there and then switched back. So they're about to go in, I think.
See where they go from as well. Elikor looks like he wants to take it from main. He's actually moving into upper lobby now. But Honeybadger's still in main. Opportunity to spam him a little bit, but it's an opportunity that they didn't take advantage of. And it looks like the super's actually going to come from bottom right with both of the soldiers. Zesty and Damizi, no, just getting healed a little bit, and they get the trade, yelling for Zesty. And actually, I don't think they even realized that they had about a 50% advantage there. Either that, or they've made the very questionable decision not to push into Badlands last with a 50% ad, which is strange to say the least. Damizi,
yeah, look at that. Damizi has actually gone in here on the right side, and with a little help from his friends, he actually manages to get a pick. So now they have a pick. Will they actually push on it? Or will they just try to get more space from the sniper? Send in another suicider. Sorex once again has gone in on the right side, and there we go. Hems going down once again. So he's just going to stand on the point. Finally, Ubers have come out here, but this is looking very promising right now for Lemmings. They've got a lot of cap time on the point, and it looks like the situation overall, like they have the high ground. And it's just Sorex against a heavy, but they couldn't do it. Heavy too strong. And there we go. Oh my god, it takes down the medic. That's a really important pick right here.
I was honestly there. That was Lemmings being Lemmings. They just went in one at a time to try and see what they could do, I think. Because they had a bit of cap time, they thought they might be able to convert it. But Elikor fed into a heavy that was just spamming main. They actually get the pick onto Condog, which was a nice surprise. And they're going to be able to hold Spire. But a very strange sequence of events.
Indeed. So it's going to be a recap. And we do have a forward hold here. It's been a while since I've seen this. Cesti actually gets taken down from a sticky trap. So Ratslayer with the forward spawn, or the forward sticky trap here. Looks like they want to keep this on up. It's, like, what's a good way to break a forward hold, do you think?
Well, the classic way to break a forward hold used to be trying to Uber double scouts through main and you just instantly rush the point, but because the cap time has now been extended, I don't think that's a great way to do it. So the best and safest way to do it is just what they're doing. You make your way up the spire with your medic, you get onto balcony and you take it from there. And if they try and carry on holding forward, you're just going to be able to crush them. You take the Uber trade really early on and then you can rotate anywhere you like. So most teams, as they have done, just end up dropping back.
Yeah, that was really textbook in here. They're going to send in Cesti. Gets denied first off, and now here comes the second one, and they do get the Uber force. So great job there. Good suicide, double suicide here. So Scout goes full pasta. Yeah, Hems, that was very optimistic. Damage is not going to miss that rocket, that's for sure. So as soon as the people join them here, Lemmings will be making this pushing. They're actually going in pretty fast here. They're not even waiting for spawners. That might be a mistake. We'll see. Looks like they're going to get the demo right away. They're going to try to force people down onto the point. The heavy's in the 2, but he gets taken down. And Damage is now threatening to go into the 2. There's now one scout on it. Look at that. They've actually beefed it once again. As even Inns walks back out into the beam of the heavy.
I've no idea there why Honey Badger thinks it's his job as the guy in control of the Uber and therefore essentially the push and how much damage his team can put out. Why he thinks it's his job to go onto the point and take the Uber charge off him for a couple of seconds and then take 100 damage for his troubles. That was a real strange play. And then nobody goes on after he manages to get Pappy up in the tube and then kill him. Very odd sequence of events. But Nunya have taken a ton of damage as they try and push out here as well. So there's a potential for this to go badly unless Condor can heal them all up.
Yeah. This is definitely looking very sketchy. He's just going to Uber right away here. And they do have a scout in the face of the medic. Takes down Honey Badger. So that Uber was definitely worth it. But it might be a little bit hairy. The scout is going to run in alone. That's a bit, I don't know, uncoordinated right here from Sorex. It kind of seems to be reverting back to his old ways of just going in alone. Like,
he did a ton of damage to Condor though. He got him down to 30 health, did 120 to the medic. If he just hits like one more shot there, he's going to be able to get it.
Yeah, but he's not
kind
going
of
to
what
have
he was going
time.
for, but...
Like, the problem is not that he wasn't hitting, because he was. It's just like...
Yeah.
Like,
Can
imagine
you do
if
it
you
before
didn't
everyone
hit
else kills you?
How dumb it would have looked then. Like, if you have perfect aim and it doesn't work, you're doing it wrong.
Absolutely, I agree. Elico picks up a kill onto his opposing faction. And it's a huge Uber advantage again for Condor, but something we've seen time and time again is teams, or these two teams in particular, fail to tell when they have a big advantage. I'm not sure why, but it looks like, once again, Nunya don't realize they have 30 to 40% ad.
Yeah. And they don't really like to push on these at all. Like, we saw it on the map before, and we're seeing it once again. So they're just kind of content to sit back here on their own train and spam it. Maybe they're just waiting for Poppy to hit a charge shot on someone. Maybe they want to send in the suicide soldier later. Maybe they want to have someone walk back and go spy. That's actually very rare to see for some reason. I don't know why. Like, if you suicide in first, then it's very obvious. Here comes the suicider. And Poppy going down there doesn't even hit a single rocket onto Honey Badger. So now he's down, so we can see the counter sack. We do see a soldier in Valley. Might be ready to jump. No, Cesty has been spotted. He's going to just go back out.
Well, it looks like they want to see if they can send... No, they're going to take an instant Uber. Condog replies by popping immediately rather than trying to work his position forwards before he pops. We'll see if Yellen can work any magic. Ratslayer has actually been juggled in, but puts two stickies right behind Elikor, so he guarantees the trade kill. Now it's on Yellen again as the spearhead of this after Uber fight. As the flank takes a 2v2 as well. Zesty's in behind, big damage on the Condor. What a play with that second rocket. And this is a true meat grinder of a fight. 2v2 at the end. Beta, who's going to get the better end of it?
Probably the scout with heals. That seems like a safe bet here, especially when it's Soix. So they're actually just retreating because they don't want to lose their medic here. Like, Soix is definitely going to win any fight. It's just a matter of the medic surviving. So Honey Badger will just back off a little bit and just wait for some spawners, and now they can go in. And they definitely still have a slightly better heals, but I think they might just wait for the Uber advantage here. If they actually want to push an Uber advantages, maybe they don't.
Right, they have a 60% Uber advantage, Peter. They must know they have it. They must want to push with it.
Yeah,
in comes the solo Uber from Damizi. See if he can get anything done with that. Nope, essentially not. They're going to be able to get the mid, but because he popped so early and it was so predictable looking, Nunya are able to get everybody out of there. So nice play from all of them, making sure that they have that passive position. I get the feeling, though, that Lemmings want to try and make a play before the counter Uber comes back in from Condog.
Yeah, there's actually a soldier behind the Cesty. Along with Damizi might even go down here. Damizi is very weak, and here comes the Uber force. There's actually a demo man in the red house. So he's causing some trouble, but he gets taken down and destroyed by Yellen. So safe cap here from Nunya, and look how far forward Damizi and Honey Badger is. Like, they're going to have to be careful, I think. Yeah, they're going to back off. It was very unsafe to be in the position that they were.
Yeah, despite the fact they've got a 40% Uber advantage, because they were 3 down at that point in time, they don't have the spam to be able to lock up the choke. So certainly if they were holding just around the choke point there, Nunya would have made a play, attempted to get onto Honey Badger. They're still going to put some spam on. They've got the double soldier support, but in comes the flank here from Lemmings. Sorex and Zesty coming forwards. Pappy's going to get caught and Yellen on half health, but Sorex can't quite find him.
Not quite, but still, like they got middle, and the Ubers are now basically even. So I think they're okay with this situation. Okay, never mind. They're just gonna keep on pushing. I don't think they realized that the Condog actually had an Uber. That it seemed kind of weird. They've jumped the soldiers behind on Spire, but he's just gonna get owned, right? Get launched up. Oh, he's doing well so far.
MGV 1v1. So Zesty, I think they hit his kill bind actually, or did he kill himself? Who knows? Either way, he's gone down, and Sorix, the furthest player forward, gonna have to retreat to the back of Choke here, as they respect the fact that Nunya have a player advantage.
Yeah, but Poppy going down there to damn easy with a nice rocket. So not on that, and the demo man goes down as well. This is looking very hairy all of a sudden for Lemmings. Look at that, it's this plus forwarding yell and before getting taken down himself. And now it's just Cesty and Honey Badger. Gonna have to be so careful. If anyone comes in from behind, they are dead. And it looks like Cesty is a bit too slow to retreat here. So maybe Honey Badger, he didn't go straight back to last. He tried to run or hide or something. I don't know. Can you explain that to me?
I'm afraid I can't. He was running around in lobby. I think he thought that they were going to be looping around trying to find him, as in expecting him to fall back to last. So he was trying to give them the jukes, but it just ended up with him getting caught out in lobby. So it doesn't quite work out there for the English medic. And it's going to be another English medic leading his team, and the rest of Nunya in through the top left now with an uber charge.
Oh,
drops,
no.
proceeds to throw on the floor. I don't need this. Would you like it?
Oh, the medic could even pick it up. I don't know if he actually did that. The Ubers decay very quickly, but they do decay.
He did pick it up. He did pick it up. They were running Vaccinator on defense, and he went out and he's picked up the Medigun. So he's now got, well, only 23% because there's, as you said, they decay incredibly quickly. But they've switched over to the Medigun there by using that switching Medigun mechanic, and he's off.
Yeah, this is pretty much how you want to do it. Textbook play here by the Vaccinator. Like, you either go back in or change, or you pick up the enemy Medigun. And you know, he was even like, you can kind of see how fast the decay is because he picked it up pretty quickly. But there was still no Uber left in it for him. So now they're just gearing up here to I don't know, contest another Suicider because this is pretty even, and I don't think Lemmings are willing to actually push off of this at all. Even though it seemed like they had momentum, right? But they definitely don't have Uber advantage. But they are just going to go off of momentum, it seems. Ubers have been forced out here, so now it's just both pocket soldiers staring each other down, seeing who's got the strongest resolve. And here comes the demo man in. But I don't know, I kind of favor Nunya's position right here. But oh my god. Cesty with a nice rocket takes down Rat Slayer, and now Crafty Dave coming in, cleaning up, and all of a sudden this is looking very, very bad for Lemmings.
Yeah, it was a strange Uber charge fight in the choke point, but essentially the Uber came out even. You know, Condor pops it off super early, wanting Yellen to get deep into them and try and force out a multi while they're all in choke. So he pops really early. They do end up getting a bit of a multi out of it. Yellen has to retreat. They set up at the back around their train. And then the part where it all falls down is when Lemmings players try and get too aggressive into the retreating Uber charge and end up just feeding themselves in 1v1 into house, onto slope, in individual areas where Nunya with their height advantage can pick them off. So now Nunya easily taking up Spire are going to have an opportunity to push last with, again, a 50% Uber advantage. Are they going to get caught by a sticky trap again? That's the question.
Well, I'm going to go with no. No, he just pops in time. But now there's a Pyro with a Vaccinated on him and a Sentry. This is so annoying to deal with, and this Pyro is just not even... like, he is close to dying, but he just completely denied the entire Uber. And there's a Sentry gun, and Poppy is on the Cow Mangler, which doesn't do any damage to sentries, basically. So this is basically a completely impossible push.
Honey Badger staying on the Vaccinator as well. Really loves that weapon, and Nunya really don't have an answer to it. Of course, the answer is just to combine damage types and try and out-heal your opponent by forcing a long, engaged fight, or by picking off people that are outside the range of these bubbles. You know, he's only got 4, although by the time he gets to the end of 4, he almost has another one. So once you account for those around the people on the top left, you should be able to get the picks on their flank. People like Sorix, Zesty and even Elikor, who's currently playing top right, those guys should be easy targets for Nunya if they want to push in and they realize that Honey Badger's running the vaccinator. Spy as well here, Beta.
Yeah, cue the Bond music as he's gonna sneak his way in. We actually see Uber. It's a bit too late actually, as Ubers have been forced out. He tries to go for the soldier, but no. Yeah, I don't know what the death sound in GoldenEye was, but play that one.
I'm afraid I don't have that one in my tune bank. The jukebox is empty.
Yeah, it's a shame. As Demis is desperately trying to hold inside here. Actually, get down to Demo Man. That's a really huge pick here. I say he's actually just going to go for the scout, but he gets taken down. Maybe he should have just stayed in his tube. Elikor does get him, so that's a lot of capping power gone, and the center gun is still up. As there we go. Final soldier gets dealt with, and now we can see a repush with the vaccinator, but it's going to be very difficult to actually push the spire when the demo is still up.
Oh, they've got... they had Crafty Dave trying to get a backup there, but Zesty is on it. Condog and Ratslayer actually wanted to go in because they knew that they had so much cap time. Ratslayer just jumps. There's like a vault over 3 stickies just laid on the floor as well, dancing with death. But because they have such an uber advantage, they should be able to block Spire. They should never let this go the way of Lemmings.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's just no way, right? Sorix is up there. Now there's even a bubble on Spire, but I don't think it's gonna matter. As the demo man, Elikor here, actually is doing a ton of work. But it's just not gonna be enough, and there we go. The protracted battle with the inferior heal of the vaccinator is just gonna be too much for them.
Surely this is the round now, Beta. There's gonna be 2 spawners, but that's it. It only took them 22.5 minutes. But that is our first round on the board. Nunya in the lead, 1-0.
Yep. It's once again Nunya starting out strong. It took them okay, it's not quite comparable to the last map, to be fair.
That took about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah. They got like 2 rounds in like a quarter of the time we played so far, but yeah, they start out winning is my entire point here. So let's see if they can keep that up on this mid.
Hems putting pressure across the point. Yellen waiting to bomb, gets in onto train. Damizi takes just a fraction of the damage that was currently intended, and Yellen and Ratslayer put so much damage out onto. There's no way that Condog survives that one. Trades with Elikor, and it's only Ratslayer left alive, and a Pappy who appears to be lost. He's in lower lobby. He got way behind them. And now he's on Spire. What's he going to do? How are you going to be useful from here, Puppy?
Oh, he's going to get Elikor with the spawn camp. It looks like he knows. Oh, Elikor. Too smart. So apparently they know about Puppy being behind here. So,
oh, he runs right into him. What's he doing?
What? He's blind.
Oh, Pappy didn't have a clue there. Elikor came out of spawn and just sticky jumped past him, and he was utterly lost.
Yeah. See the Uber coming out here from Honey Badger. They don't get the medic. They have 2 kills right now, but the sentry gun is still up. They're gonna need to spam that out. They need to get down the demo. They need to put time on the point, and none of that is really happening right now. They're just taking so long, and now they've even lost their own medic. Sorix is behind the point right now, so there's always a chance for a cap here as he goes into this soldier. Oh my god, gets destroyed by Puppy. That feels bad. Sorix beefing there. A rare time that Sorik's aim is not on point.
Ince looked like he wanted to go for the backup as well on the bottom right, but he's all the way out there on Stone Bridge. Nunya still seem a bit cautious, like they think he might be behind, but they're beginning to pressure their way out. But unfortunately, Hems is the furthest one forward, and him and Pappy are getting peppered down. Pappy falls. Ratslayer's in behind them. Can they get the damage out with the supercharge? But everybody from Lemmings is just running all the way to last. And whoever was on last there has just left. And that is going to be the back cap. What a strange rotation play. But it works out for Lemmings.
Yeah. Good news is they work the flank really well. Bad news, you lose when you don't have people on last. So, yeah, the EU brain play there, not exactly so smart. So that makes it 1-1. Quick comeback. It's been very back and forth. I feel like we've been very lucky with this game. Like, it had all the makings of a complete trash game, but no, it's actually been absolutely fantastic. So another mid here. Look at Elikor actually falls to his death. He's going to walk off the cliff just to put himself out of his own misery. As Poppy jumps in onto the medic, Honey Badger just dodges it without even looking. He doesn't care. And now it looks like Nunya is going to be backed up into choke. In's getting another kill here before getting taken down by an arrow of all things. And wow, look at that pipe. The demo man in from behind. No, the sword is behind, and now it's just Soix. Just Soix.
He could clean this up, though. He reasonably could clean this up in a 1v3, but Ratslayer hits the pipe. In the meantime, though, he actually got the cap. So that's going to give the forward spawns like Damizi, who's come in with a super fast bomb, along with Elikor as well. Can he hit the pipe? It's a 1v1, and Ratslayer again coming out on top of both of them, cleaning out.
So good.
Those rats got slayed. Slain? I think that's a past tense.
Yeah, I don't know. Are lemmings a type of rat? Either way.
I mean, they're probably related. I think they're vermin.
Sure. I'll take it. I used to be really into animals when I was a kid, but I don't know anything anymore. So I'll take your word for it. But it's going to be an easy Spire cap. Honey Badger almost got an Uber of his own here. So if Nunya is not fast, they're going to miss out on this. And there is a Pyro and there is a Sentry Gun, so yeah, I don't think it's going to be possible, especially now that they're just kind of standing around in top lobby. So it's going to be another situation here. I would just wait for a suicide push, I guess.
They've got a full defensive setup here as well, but they don't have the Vaccinator because Honey Badger's still got 100% Uber, so this is going to be a classic Uber trade. Now, normally you'd say that's a lot better, but Nunya have been all too happy to push into the Vaccinator and beef frequently, so now Lemmings are kind of stuck in a position where the team they're playing against doesn't want to push. Instead, they're just going to send Sax in and try and bait Lemmings into pushing themselves, which is a risky position to be in.
Yeah, Nunya's going to retreat outside. Oh, it's actually a scout. Okay, I thought the scout was going to be really aggressive. He's actually cleared the way for his soldier body to come out here. So Lemmings, they're really clearing a lot of space right now. They're urging their entire team just forward, but looks like they finally had enough and just decide there's no way they can ever get Spire or the medic, so they just go back to last, move forward, respawn, and Cesti's actually going to be on Spy.
Another incredible James Bond play coming right up. I can feel it in my bones here. Right, he just clocked right in front of Patty's face. And then he bumped into him, I think. Right, so far so good. Oh, what a play!
That was perfect timing, basically. Just turns around the corner and then just... There's the medic, pretending his back to him.
Yeah, really good play by Zesty, and there's only a minute and a half left as well, so this is a great opportunity for Lemmings as they push out a blast here. Nobody going for a back cap as well, but even if they were, there's an engineer there. Ratslayer's on the flank, which is really strange as well, because if Lemmings want to try and push in like an off Uber, then Ratslayer's not actually there to deny the choke. He's actually just moved around now, so he is. And they've got Crafty Dave on Sniper. This is going to be difficult for Lemmings to get any real estate out of that.
Yeah, and likewise, the Ubers are even here. Like, at what point do you actually push here as Nunya? Because you want to have a chance to actually push their last, but not have a chance of actually failing your own. Looks like that's not going to matter if they... instead, it's going to be Lemmings that are just content to push, and Sorg's taking down Ratslayer, and Crafty Dave getting down Elikor, and Kondak has gone down as well. So this is so messy. And it's actually looking pretty decent.
That was terrible by the Lemmings soldiers, though. They'd already got the pick on Condog, and they got the pick on Ratslayer. They didn't need any of the picks, and instead, Zesty and Damizi just feed in from different angles. And now they've put themselves in a huge player disadvantage, despite being able to start the cap on Spire. So I really dislike that play, despite the fact that they're making it work. It was so risky. And if Nunya had just collated the resources and tried to defend that attack on Spire, I think they would have been still in control at this point.
Yeah,
probably would have been able to make a play onto Honey Badger.
Yeah, dot push here. There's 10 seconds left. Uber's just going to be in straight away. Now they're going to have to play the point here.
What's he doing again? Honey Badger making a play for the point. Like, leave someone else on your team to do that. I don't understand. And that's going to be another draw going into a golden cap.
I don't know. I will actually defend that. I think the medic sacking there was good. Because there's so little time left. Like, your heals are not going to be important at all. So you just want to clear out the initial sticky trap and then put scouts on the point.
My problem with that, though, Peter, is that he still had half the Uber charge left. So if you sack literally anybody else in, like one scout, and then you've still got the rest of your Uber charge to try and fight people with, and 3 players dropped before the time ran out. So I feel like there was probably a better way of playing that, but I'll agree that it certainly was dire straits for the team in either situation, given that there was 5 seconds left.
Yeah, he might have panicked a little bit too much. Just sending in a single soldier would probably be worth it. But that's going to be the game. Once again, a 1-1 stalemate. Did the server just shut down? I think it did.
Pappy says, "Serve me as dead. We can't play." I don't know what's going on, but surely there is a server somewhere around that could be used. TF2 doesn't have a lack of servers, so I'm sure the game will get underway at some point. So in terms of the points distribution, though, they already got 1 point from the last game, Nunya, so they're currently on 2, whereas Lemmings are on 3 points, with the final point ready to be divvied up between the two of them. So 3-2 in terms of ETF2L table points at the moment in favour of Lemmings. Should we play some Turbine, Peter?
Oh,
Should
yeah.
we make the Golden Cap instead be a game on Turbine? I think everybody would enjoy that.
Absolutely. Like, Turbine is a classic map where you sit in a bunch of tunnels and spam each other. Like, I
Yeah.
can't see a better way of spending your time.
Exactly, and it's not even Pro Turbine, so it doesn't even have the banana. It's just the 3 tunnels and the tiny little vent room up top.
Yeah, no dumb distractions like flanks or anything.
Oh yeah, who needs flanks? Like, flanks are, exactly, as you say, a distraction from the main purpose of the game, which is to feed into choke points repeatedly.
Indeed.
Or just run sniper. Let's have a look at some logs, though, from the main regulation time of that game. So we had 3 rounds there, Beta. The first one took 27 minutes, roughly. The next one took, 2? Something like that. And then the final round never got completed. So what storylines are you picking out here from the metrics that are in front of you?
Well, actually, I think we both said that this was going to be like a much more scout-dominated map, and that is not the case at all. It's actually been the soldiers that have really been shining, along with the demo men. So the explosive class is just really showing their worth here. Like, we see Sorix having an all-time low of like 9-17. When was the last time you saw a score like that from Sorix? He was having so much trouble.
Yeah, he was having a lot of trouble. He kept going in at really bad times, but also seems like he was in the kill feed too much to be able to generate any damage as well. 195 DPM. And even when he was making the plays, it didn't feel like he was missing his shots that badly. It just felt like the timing was completely off whenever he was going for a play. On the other hand, though, Crafty Dave from Nunya with 25-9, reversing Sorix's KD and more. But again, only getting 200 DPM, so doing more of a cleanup role rather than actually putting in the fat damage.
Yeah, we do have Connect in for now, so they have figured it out. These players in Prem are actually capable of finding a server to play a 1-minute round on, basically.
That's incredible. That's a level of organization I didn't think possible from TF2 players. But also, Sam, the lovely man on production, has highlighted Ratslayer's KD, which is really good, actually. Ratslayer had a way better game on Badlands than he did on Granary. It's night and day, this performance, because on Granary he was having a real lackluster game, getting completely outplayed by Elikor, and Elikor still had a really good game on this particular map, but Ratslayer was destroying. 27 for 13, and then 283 DPM, and a number of those kills done with the pipes as well. And he had a couple of clutch situations as well, like that the one on mid where Damizi and Elikor bombed in, attempting to get onto his medic, and he just swiftly shut them down with a pipe to the face.
It really seemed like that situation that powered him for the rest of the game. He just never let up. Like, he just put his the gas pedal down and just kept it there the entire game, just playing at full throttle. So a very impressive game from Ratslayer for sure. He did more damage than I thought. Like, I didn't even notice how well he was doing, but obviously looking at the logs and even thinking back, it was clear he was having a really strong game. So anyway, I don't know if there's any more things. Like, do we have some heal stats maybe? Is there anything interesting?
God, I love heal stats, Beta. Show me some heal stats, because Elikor was actually taking the most heals in the previous game when they were playing on Granary, which may be a reason why Elikor seemed like he was outperforming Ratslayer so much. When we look at this spread, the heal distribution this time, you can see that Condog was actually the one healing his Demoman the most, with 27% heals on Ratslayer, compared to Damizi taking the brunt of it as the new pocket coming in for Lemmings. So interesting there. But the 2 drops from Condog, not the best when it's such a tight game.
No, that's it's a very important one. I think especially one where he walked through a choke and died to a sticky trap right before Ubering. Like, that's just either bad timing or bad game sense. Pick one, right?
Yeah, I mean, either your pocket's gonna have to check that, or if you're pushing and it's time constrained, then you have to reboot before you get through that choke, because it's a very common spot that stickies are going to be put there, especially because Badlands now you don't really have to put the stickies on last the whole time, like before the push even happens, because with the cap timer being extended, it's far less likely that someone's just going to sneak it out from under your nose like used to happen all the time. So there's a lot more utility in where you can place your stickies in terms of getting picks before the push comes in now. And of course the other drop was Zesty getting that great, like really well-timed spy play actually on Greybridge to take down an attack that really could have made that a 2-1 game in favor of Nunya just in regulation time.
Yeah, Uber drops are always important. Not having many of them. We also see a lot of vaccinated once again for Honey Badger, not as much as on last map, but it's still definitely a prevalent tactic that they like to bust out and use. Overall, the vaccinator, I'm not too fond of it outside of last. On last, it's obviously great. But, Honey Badger is definitely making it work. And I will say, though, that Nunya seems to be figuring out this whole vaccinator business as the match goes on. They're adjusting and they're becoming better and better at dealing with it. So that's just a team thing, and that's good to see, I think. That shows promise for the future, that you're able to adapt like this on the fly.
Both teams, though, have found it difficult actually converting their last pushes. We've seen over and over again them have opportunities to push with huge Uber advantages or player advantages into last on both Granary and Badlands, and they've failed to convert it. And that's why both of the games have been so tight, especially when it gets to the later stages of the match, or the map rather, when you want to be able to convert it, but the other team is so determined to defend. So look at that 20% conversion rate by Blue. Who was that? Who was even playing on Blue? Anyway, that doesn't even matter because the conversion rate is just as low the other way around. 20 conversion rate plays 33% conversion rate. So while a lot of the game was happening around the Spire area and between mid to Spire, very, very few conversions into rounds. One apiece, obviously, despite having the opportunity to many times. So let's have a look at this golden cap, which is going to decide how these two teams split this final point, Peter.
Indeed. It can be an even game, or it can be a win for Lemmings. They won the first one. It took me a while. But yeah, here we go. Looks like straight away both scouts Blue are going to put on a ton of pressure, and Hems will actually go down. Get invaded forward by both scouts and get taken down by a sticky. Elikor is now playing underneath, gets another kill. So Elikor just bossing this middle here. You were talking about it earlier in the pre-game, how the demo man can just take control of this middle, and you were seeing it here as everyone from Red are just on this stone bridge. They're going to be forced out.
Zesty's really far forward, actually. He wants to be able to catch Condog, or basically anybody that can get into. He's spotted him as well. He's going to make a play for the medic, surely. He's really far forwards, though, and is actually going to get picked up. It's a nice play, though, really, because you're catching the whole of Nunya as they move backwards, and even though you don't have much health, they don't either. So even if you die in that situation, which he did, you're not actually putting your team at any kind of disadvantage either. Things are getting pretty scrappy, though.
Yeah, it's more like if more people run out and die, then you can be in trouble. But yeah, just sacking like that was basically a suicide with both teams having Uber. So a very good time to do a risky play. As we actually see a spy, we see Zesty making his way in with the cloak and dagger, Just waiting for the right opportunity to strike here. He's made it work before. Can he do it again? He's switching weapons, which means they can hear you, buddy. Don't do that.
They look like they want to make the play, but Zesty's on spy as well,
God.
so I don't know what is happening here. This is really odd decision making. It
They're
looks
coming.
like they just...
Yeah, once again. Even
He
gets
got
the
him.
pyro.
He got 2 of them! That's incredible. Surely they're going to be able to take this now, but Hen's Sentry is the last defense, the final boss. And it's actually getting Sorex! Oh my god, it's going to get
And the
Ince
second
as
one.
well! I give up. Peter, I'm out of here. This game's ridiculous. How did they fail that? Zesty must be kicking himself. He wants to kick his team, but the only person within the vicinity is himself.
That really is heartbreaking. Not being able to take out that one sentry, and sentries are actually really good against scouts when you really think about it.
Especially when Honey Badger drops you. When Honey Badger Ubers and runs out bottom right instead of going main and trying to contest the point. Like, Hems was just sat there begging for the Uber show to be on him, slowly getting peppered down by a sentry.
Yeah, it looks like both soldiers are going to try and take down the sentry gun here. So far, no luck. I think they're just going to run a scout onto it. That was closer than it should have been. And back in the day, that would have been a cap, I think. Not today. As we will reset here. Nunya with a tiny Uber advantage there. I don't think they're going to be aware of. Cesti just walks in top right. He's so far in, he's just not leaving. There you go, finally.
Damizi on the point. No, this cannot be how my empire falls, says Condor, because he drops to the point and pops up his Uber. But that means it's a much worse Uber as well, as Zesty takes it onto the point here. Ince is going to get on it. And they're going to cap, and that's going to be a 4-2 distribution in point speed. They do come out with the win, technical win, 2 golden cap win on Granary and Badlands.
Yeah, I think they had quite a few draws already. I think they had 5 losses or something before this, and now we still have that. So they didn't really lose. They did draw a whole lot. So they get the 4 points. That basically means that the tables stay the way they are already. I'm not sure what the result of the other match was. We obviously saw 7 get the full point from GG because of the forfeit loss. A bit of a stain on the perfect season of 7, and they're probably pissed. So, but other than that, yeah, pretty uneventful night in Egypt as far as the tables go.
Yeah, all of these things couldn't really affect the playoff games, which is one of the inevitable downsides of running a round-robin league, is that you, at the end of the season, occasionally you get games that simply don't matter for seedings. But I believe that means that Nunya have escaped the relegation zone because they got 2 points. Am I right there, or am I completely wrong? Anyway, it doesn't actually matter because it's ETF2L, and you generally don't get relegated anyway.
Yeah, you just fold, right?
Exactly.
If you're not one of the best teams, you just fold.
Or Champ GG will fold and just give you a spot, essentially, anyway.
Yeah. Like that's the winning tactic right there. Just make a team, make it into Prem, and don't fold, and you two can make the playoffs.
Absolutely, that's what's happened to Low Panda. I mean, Flex God Mookie is now in playoffs. That's going to be interesting to watch, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
It's going to be so fun watching him play engineer and sit in chokes and go spy all the time.
Oh, Zesty made it work tonight playing spy. He came out with some fat plays. Have we got a log of that final golden cap round? Was it even worth looking at log? How long was it around? Yeah, it was like 3 minutes or something, right?
Yeah, 3 minutes. Yeah, Zesty's top fragging mainly because of his spy. You know, so that was just one play that made him go to the top.
Well, big things. The Season 26 Premiership table as well, 7 in the lead. Nerd Rage in second place. Just a recap if you haven't checked it out recently. Arctic Foxes in third. Would have been Champ GG in fourth, but they have now folded. So they've given their playoff spot to Low Panda, who were in fifth. So that means that a team with a negative win record, 5-6, are actually making the playoffs. So perhaps going to get crushed in the early games, Low Panda, unless they can have a big up in their performance as they enter into the tournament bracket portion of the season. But it looks like 7 have yet to be contested, frankly. Nerd Rage best placed to see if they can upset them in any of the matches.
Indeed, and I don't think we have any interviews lined up, so I think that's just about it, man. Do we have any other duties that we absolutely must do before we leave?
I mean, we could flame the chat a little bit, Peter. I always enjoy doing that.
Oh,
But
boy.
no, I think that should be it. I think we just sit tight and wait for playoffs. Lie back and think of playoffs, Peter. Just lie back, grin, and bear it until playoffs. But yeah, that has been us on Team Fortress TV. Thanks for sticking with it.